What? The target is a human. No, I heard what you said. There's no way anyone in the galaxy could be that unbelievably foolish. I was told the Black Hand assassins could eliminate anyone. Keep that name out of your cursed mouth around here, the assassin growled. We had to give it up after a disastrous deal with the Delpin Empire years ago. I don't care about any empire, the client replied firmly. I want you to kill a human. The assassin's mandibles clicked in irritation. We don't accept contracts to kill humans. Then I'll find someone else to do it. You can try, the assassin said coldly. But none of the other guilds across the galaxy will take that job. And even if you find some reckless loner with a death wish, they won't succeed. Either they'll die trying or they'll turn you in. You really believe humans can't be killed? I never said that, the assassin said. Quite the opposite, I know for a fact they can die. But we still won't take contracts to kill them. Why not? What's so special about them? Because the only way to kill a human and live long enough to enjoy your payment is to drop a neutron bomb on them from orbit, just to be safe. Then you grab the fastest ship you can and run, before the rest of the humans find out what you did. After that, your best chance at survival is to flee to another galaxy and disappear for good. You're kidding. Tell me something, the assassin said, leaning forward. Does your planet have mandatory education? What does that have to do with anything? Just answer. Yes. 10 years of government-run schooling, basically teaching kids how to follow orders like ration drones. Sounds about right, the assassin said dryly. Did they teach you any history? A little. Galactic history. No. Didn't think so, the assassin muttered. Sit down then. I'll tell you why no assassin with half a brain will accept a contract to kill a human. They ordered drinks. The older assassin took a deep sip before speaking again. Remember when I mentioned the Delpin Empire? Yes. What about it? Do you know what happened to them? Their empire collapsed after wasting too many resources trying to conquer a death world. That so-called death world, the assassin said slowly, was the human homeworld. And no, the planet didn't destroy the Delpin. The humans did. How? The assassin took another slow drink and stared into the distance. The Delpin Empire once ruled half of this galaxy. Hundreds of species were enslaved or wiped out completely. Their motto was simple: obey or be crushed. The Galactic Council, which governed the parts of the galaxy outside Delpin territory, couldn't stop them. They made speeches, held debates, even begged, but nothing could slow down the Delpin's unstoppable war machine. System by system, the galaxy fell to their emperor. Then they discovered a solar system called Sol. The name wasn't in use elsewhere, so they let the locals keep it. The humans lived on the third planet, Earth. They were just starting to explore their solar system when the Delpin arrived. Humans were split into various economic and cultural regions they called countries. This made the invasion easier. Because they were so divided, their responses were slow. The Delpin legions swept across the planet before many humans even realized what was happening, thanks to communication jammers. Still, despite all those disadvantages, the humans resisted fiercely. One standard galactic month. That's how long it took the Delpin to take control of Earth. Most pre-FTL, faster-than-light civilizations surrendered in a week. But the humans fought like demons, especially once the remaining countries understood they were under attack. They even managed to stop the Delpin ground forces temporarily, before reinforcements arrived and crushed the last stronghold of resistance. From there, it turned into the usual routine, dividing survivors into labor groups, giving them roles that would benefit their new masters. Many of the humans left alive were farmers or ranchers, so the Delpin let them continue. After all, an army marches on its stomach, as the humans say, and the Delpin war machine was always hungry. I believe that's an old human saying, the assassin muttered. And the Delpin war machine was starving. A few 100,000 humans were transported off-world to labor in mines across the galaxy. Due to Earth's high gravity, humans were unnaturally strong and resilient. that made them ideal for dangerous work like mining. Most species conquered by the Delphin followed a predictable pattern, almost like they were reading from the same script. First, a year or two of harsh discipline from the overlords to force the new slaves into submission. Then a few years of uneasy peace, followed by scattered rebellions about 5 to 10 years after the conquest. Once those were crushed, the spirit to resist usually died out. The survivors simply gave up. But the humans didn't follow that pattern. They seemed to accept their new reality, falling in line just months after the invasion ended. When the expected uprisings never happened, I imagine the Delphin felt smug, convinced they'd broken the will of the primitive species. If I could give humans just one compliment, it would be this: they are natural hunters. They know how to wait for the perfect moment to strike. For 20 Earth years, the humans lived, worked, and multiplied like vermin. Not that the Delphin cared how many were born. More bodies for the war machine, as they like to say. They even offered extra rations and privileges to women who had more than 4 children. But the Delphin didn't realize something important. The humans weren't breeding laborers. They were raising an army. The human rulers who had surrendered to the Delphin were, in many cases, fake. Puppet leaders meant to create the illusion of submission. The real governments had gone underground, literally. Hidden leaders continued to direct operations from below the surface. Secret training camps were built. Night schools operated in the shadows. Covert pamphlets spread the message of eventual rebellion. The humans were clever, hiding it all from their conquerors. Then, when the Delphin warfront had moved dozens of star systems away to conquer more of the galaxy, the time came. The human leaders, long hidden in bunkers and caves, had been preparing in silence. Scientists had carefully reverse-engineered scraps of stolen Delphin technology. Supplies had been gathered. Resistance had been quietly nurtured since the day of surrender. While the Delphin gloated, the humans prepared. And now they were ready. At first, the resistance appeared small. They all do. A miner refusing to work. A rancher lying that disease wiped out his herd. Factory explosion here. A shipment that mysteriously vanished there. Soon the disruptions became more serious. France, a human nation known for centuries of rebellion, rose up in the streets shouting, "Vive la Révolution!" Don't ask me what that means. I never bothered to learn their languages. A crate of plasma rifles went missing. Then a grav tank refused to start. When engineers opened it up, they found it stripped clean of power and anti-gravity components. The Delphin officials saw these as minor problems, but problems nonetheless. So they contacted the Black Hand assassins, and other guilds like ours, to take care of the unrest. We charged the Empire quite a fee, I'll tell you that. The human planet, dirt, I think they call it, has gravity nearly 3 times the galactic standard. Every agent we sent had to wear a gravity assist suit and spend a week adjusting to the environment. At first, our agents thought the rebels were ghosts. They'd find signs of sabotage, but no trace of who did it. Streets would suddenly empty during patrols. Then, an explosion would rip through the area, sometimes taking our agents with it. One of ours lost a close friend in an ambush. Enraged, he stormed into a random nearby town and began executing civilians when they couldn't name the rebels responsible. After the 3rd execution, a mob rose against him. They tore him apart. I don't even blame the Delphin for refusing to pay the death compensation on that one. Our job was to stop riots, not cause them. The mission was going downhill fast. Sure, we were eliminating humans with the surgical precision we were known for. But what good was the payment if you couldn't leave the planet alive to spend it? Before long, we couldn't even move through the surface without heavy Delphin military escort. The humans would attack without warning and then vanish into the crowds. On the continent they called Africa, one of our agents was lured onto the savannah while chasing a rebel, only to be ambushed by a pack of wild predators. The humans had even trained their planet's lesser beasts to fight alongside them. The number of agents we lost to human dog companions. Too many to count. And don't even get me started on the nightmare that is Australia. That place is a trap wrapped in death, and the less said about it, the better. Soon one regional command center went dark. Then another. And by the time the Delphin nobles finally realized this was no small rebellion, the entire planet had gone silent. And not just Earth. Every location where humans had been taken for labor began showing the same signs of rebellion. It's believed the humans even spread the idea of resistance to other enslaved species under Delphin rule. How they managed to communicate across the vastness of space is still unknown. And before you ask, yes, the Delphin had patrol ships roaming those regions, specifically to prevent this kind of thing. But even those ships had gone silent. The humans had planted spies on board, and either captured or destroyed the patrol vessels. Those captured ships were sent to human scientists for analysis. With no Delphin supervision remaining, the humans revealed the secret factories and armed forces they'd been building for decades. Massive manufacturing centers began producing parts for space docks, and eventually starships. Launch facilities, long hidden from their overlords, fired vessels into orbit by the thousands of tons each day. By the time the Delphin light response units reached human space, they were no match for the fleet the humans had secretly constructed using stolen Delphin technology. It's no exaggeration to say the Delphin were destroyed by their own arrogance. Each time they lost a patrol or fleet, they simply sent another, too obsessed with expanding their empire to notice the rot festering within it. Eventually, the cost of sending reinforcements grew too high. The Delphin withdrew a conquest fleet from the front lines. But by the time it reached the Sol system, not only Earth but the next 3 systems in every direction had already gone dark. When that conquest fleet arrived 10 systems out from Sol, it met not just a human fleet, but a unified armada of every former slave species in the region. After the humans won that battle, the Delphin Emperor grew nervous. His armies were scattered across the galaxy, and the humans were now between him and his forces. An emergency recall was sent out. Every fleet was ordered to return to the imperial capital. Assassin guilds like ours were summoned as well. But by then, we had already lost nearly 2/3 of our numbers. So we refused the call. That decision saved our lives. You see, the humans, after decades of working in secret, were experts at exposing spies and saboteurs. 7 entire assassin guilds were completely wiped out. We knew it was a fool's mission, no matter what the Empire promised. While the Delphin fleets regrouped in their home system and planned their counterattack, the humans did the opposite. They expanded rapidly, spreading across the now unprotected space. Wherever they went, they overthrew Delphin governors and rallied oppressed species to join them. They didn't just resist. They ignited revolution. The galactic regions not yet conquered by the Delphin Empire eagerly joined the humans. All across the Empire, billions upon billions of enslaved beings broke free, raised their fists and fought back. The factories still produced warships. The agricultural planets still grew food. But now for the new Galactic Alliance, not the Delphin. With supply lines cut off, the Delphin Empire began to collapse from the inside. Internal conflicts grew. Fleets that were dispatched from the imperial capital never made it farther than a dozen systems before they were overwhelmed by the human alliance. Just like on Earth, the humans fought like ghosts, striking hard and fast, then disappearing into the void. No matter what tactics the Delphin tried, they could never trap the humans in a direct battle. This went on for months. The Delphin forces were slowly torn apart, ambushed, misled by fake distress signals, caught by EMP traps hidden in asteroid fields. The humans didn't care about honor, only victory. When the Alliance fleets finally breached Delphin Prime, they found a shattered fleet starving and turning against itself. When the human admiral hailed the remaining Delphin commanders and they saw the scale of the fleet standing before them, they surrendered immediately. The war was over. But the humans weren't finished. They unleashed their most devastating weapon. Lawyers. The Delphin Emperor was dragged from his throne. All the nobles, administrators, and slave masters who had ever oppressed another species were rounded up and dragged into the new court system the humans had rebuilt. Unlike Delphin justice, where guilt was assumed and executions were swift, Human justice gave everyone a trial, a defense, and evidence-based rulings. By the time the trials ended, the emperor had died of old age. His successor was forced to acknowledge and undo the empire's crimes. The Delphin Empire collapsed. Today, only a few distant systems remain under their control, far in the southern reaches of the galaxy. Many feared the humans would use their newfound power to conquer the galaxy. But within 1 year of the Delphin's surrender, the humans dismantled more than half of their fleet. The rest was scattered across the stars, to hunt pirates and keep the peace. Our guild. We were lucky. The humans saw that we had broken our contract and refused to fight. They spared us, but on one condition. The Black Hand would be permanently disbanded. They had already reduced us to a third of our size before the rebellion even left Earth. We were the most elite assassins in the galaxy. And now we're just a scattered group of nameless independents. So you see, young one, we don't kill humans. If you kill a human, their family will hunt you down. If you kill their family, their entire species will hunt you down. And you'd better hope they kill you, because if they send their lawyers, you'll be lucky if your own people execute you out of sheer shame. I had no idea, the younger alien whispered. That's painfully obvious, the old assassin said flatly. I don't usually ask, but what exactly did this human do to you? They insulted my broodmate. The assassin laughed out loud. That's it. Then insult them back. Or punch them in the face if you must. But you said never to attack a human. Attack. Oh, but fight. Humans love to fight with words, fists, or ideas. You might not even hurt them physically, but if you just told them they offended you, they might actually apologize. Really? They'd do that. They're monsters in war, demons when wronged. But they're not savages. If they were, they never could have rebuilt the Galactic Council the way they have. Now they lead it, and will likely continue doing so for generations. They are a strong species, but a just one. The old assassin finished his drink, gazed into his empty glass and said, Now then, my cup is empty. Unless you're buying another round, I think we're done here.